power consumption was really low, and the amount of parallelism that we could achieve with these devices was really game-changing. So that was something we had been using on-prem a lot. And on-prem means we have traditional SDI input a lot still. It's still a thing. We have 2110 input. We now have NDI input. But we also support SRT input and IP input via RTMP as well. So a typical application that we develop, that we run, is our modular live playout, and we are showcasing it here at the NETINT booth as well. So it takes different inputs. It could be live sources like SRT or RTMP, HLS or SDI 2110. We take video on demand assets that we can use as a pre-trailer, a mid-trailer, something in between. We have some overlays, some logos, lower thirds, and we can combine them in a playlist, and you can move in this playlist to generate a new confectioned live stream output. And we then send it to an output, and it can be a single bitrate output or adaptive bitrate output, send it to CDNs like Akamai and others, and we can send it also to social media networks. And if you take that setup here and you just use one single live source and a playlist that has just one element and it runs forever, then that's your classical linear live playout. So it's a special case of that generalization that we are using here. This is how it looks. So it's not just a command line tool. Everything is API driven. You can completely control it via API, but it also comes with a very flexible user interface. So 3 years ago, we developed our own design system to quickly build custom UIs for customers that still look professional in a way, but that are not where we not have to do everything from scratch. So you have a playlist here. It's just on live. You have a preview and take, and you can just use it like you would use a normal playout, and you don't see under the hood what is happening in the technology that we're using. So we're taking these pieces like infrastructure, on-prem, CPU, and VPUs, and integrate them into something that where you can have untrained operators that can easily work with that. No? So like a real solution. So what we do is we take this media processing technology stack that we are using. We add all the enterprise stuff that you need to really deploy such a software in an enterprise environment or in a broadcast environment, like identity. Many of our customers want us to integrate with their Active Directory domain so that they don't need new user accounts. These kind of things you don't usually get from an encoding vendor because they are not looking into that broader scope. We integrate it with databases and with security and observability. So there is a lot going around this single piece of media processing that you need to get it really operational and that you can manage it with a small crew. That's very important to our customers. So what we then decided to do is we built everything into a Kubernetes environment. We can run it both on a fully fledged Kubernetes cluster, but also on single servers that run on K3s, which is the single server version of Kubernetes. And that means that our developers, they don't have to care if they deploy on a fully fledged cluster, on a distributed cluster, or on a single server machine. It's all the same to them, and that eases the rollout of new software. And that allowed us to not only run on-prem, where we use our own on-prem Kubernetes clusters with VPUs inside, but also on other clouds. And now with the Akamai cloud supporting VPUs, we could just take the same software that we run on-prem and run it at the same time in the cloud. We have a management cluster on top, which is the interface to the user. So this is running the content management system where you log in, where all the logging is and all the reporting is. And it communicates with the remote clusters on-prem and in the cloud to control what's going on and to report back what's happening there. And we're using a technology that unifies the namespace in that Kubernetes cluster so that the application doesn't really know that it's running somewhere else. It's like one big distributed application, but secured enough so we are ISO 27001 certified, so IT security is always part of what we do. So that is a nice and very flexible setup that we are running. And right now at the show, we are showing something. We have a live stream from the Cosmopolitan looking down on the fountain at the Bellagio. And we are sending that to an SRT gateway. And we have instances on Linode running in Los Angeles, in Chennai, and in Frankfurt, and at the same time on-prem in our infrastructure in Germany. And it's all controlled from an Akamai LK cluster. And that's a very flexible setup that we can now easily fire up everywhere where we need it. And one customer where we used all this together is the European Parliament. It's an opportunity that we've been working on for a year now, and it's gone live in March. So we are doing all of their live streaming infrastructure and their live to VOD infrastructure. So this involves 5 on-prem data centers, couple of Akamai connected cloud locations, massive amounts of SDI because they didn't want us to be near their own network infrastructure. That's why they just give us SDI. So this runs, most of that runs on-prem, but also Overflow in the cloud and the management in the cloud. So, and a lot of audio channels. So that's a huge project that we do, but it combines very nicely on-prem infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, the scalability, and the central management. That's a really nice use case here.